Okay, I almost killed the poor guy. We are very overweight today because we are carrying a load. And I also used a lot of fuel. I'm sitting at 80% fuel. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't really want to sit down and do the maths to calculate proper fuel values. I hate it. I know it's part of the exercise, but I don't care about it. So I just did 80% fuel, and I know that, roughly speaking, it's going to get me where I want to go. And I'm not concerned about getting off the ground because, as you can see, first of all, we made it, but second of all, we also have a very strong headwind.
Dodge 3, F1 ground, contact tower on 141.0.
So there won't be any problems with it. Okay, let me stabilize. I think I'm stable enough. Let's hope I won't die. Baseline Tower, Dodge 3, halt and short on taxiway Alpha. Request permission to take off runway 28 for west departure.
Dodge 3, Baseline Tower, you are cleared for takeoff. Runway 28, departure to the west. QNH 29.92, winds are 102 at 8 knots. Caution light turbulence.
Dodge 3, cleared to take off. Come on, dude, just roll already. And the Gazelle feels so fucking weird, I swear.
Let's take it nice and easy today. Climb at a rate of 100 meters per minute. We'll settle in at 1,000 meters MSL and maintain 150 kilometers. Depart straight out and hold a heading of 270 west.
Understood.
Let's keep heading west until we reach the river. Then you can follow the river towards waypoint 1 or fly direct. It's up to you.
Dodge 3, Baseline Tower, contact center on 143.0.
Contact center on 143.0, Dodge 3. Go ahead and change the radio frequency for Bisland Center. I'll make contact. Bisland Center, Dodge 3, 10 miles west of Bisland Airfield, en route to FOB Fable.
Dodge 3, Baseline Center, we have you at 10 miles west of Baseline Airfield. Continue as planned.
Continue as planned, Dodge 3.
Oh, and by the way, I figured out what happened in the previous mission. I figured out why we missed the triggers. It's my fault. I misunderstood something that was said. So if you guys recall, the instructor said that once we have the runway on our 3 o'clock, we're going to turn for the direct approach to the downwind. Now, I took that to mean that we're going to go for a direct approach for a landing, but what it meant was that we would turn into a direct approach for downwind, because if I went for a direct landing, I would be using the runway 10, but we wanted to use runway 28, so we wanted to go downwind, base, final, and land on runway 28. So what I should have done is I should have trusted the instructor and waited until he gave me the instructions to turn. But I was a bit skeptical, especially because I thought that the right course of action was to turn when the runway was on my 3 o'clock. That's what I understood initially. I didn't catch the part about the downwind. And to be fair, if I'm being honest with you guys, this should have been discussed in the briefing, not live as we're flying. I was also very fatigued and very pissed off and frustrated from the IFR landing, in which I was forced to increase gamma and brightness settings. So there's also that. Now, I went ahead and conversed with ChatGPT and asked it for recommended gamma and brightness settings. And right now my screen is calibrated with those in mind, so if you see some difference in the ambient lighting, that's because of different gamma settings in the game. So maybe it's going to be a bit brighter or a bit darker from what you're used to. But I'm curious to see the next night mission. I'm curious to see how it's going to feel and how it's going to look. That said, as I said, this is going to be a very boring flight. There's not much to show you. I'll try to capture some nice cinematic shots, something beautiful, but I'll see you guys when we've got some developments. Right now, all we need to do is be patient and fly to waypoint 1.
Alright, we're approaching waypoint 1. Input waypoint 2 into the nadir and turn to our new heading.
And waypoint 2 looks good, I think. So it should be working fine.
Dodge 3, Bethlehem Center, you're leaving my airspace. Contact Nautics Center on 137.0.
Contact Nautics Center on 137.0, Dodge 3. Go ahead and change the frequency to Nautics Center on 137.0. I'll make contact. Nautics Center, Dodge 3, 20 miles northeast of Nautics Airfield, en route from Bislan Airfield to FOB Fable as planned. Dodge 3, Nautics Center, anything. Some days were quieter than others. It was time to RTB and I still had my full loadout. I jumped on the radio and contacted Cloudy. Assault 17, this is Assault 16. Go ahead, 16, he replied. Hey Cloudy, what do you say we stir up a little dust before heading back? What you got in mind, 16? There was this cluster of small houses that we passed on the way in. It had previously been bombarded by rockets or an artillery strike and it was basically rubble at this point. So I replied to Cloudy, mentioned the location and said we should do some target practice on the way back. Sure thing, 16, he replied. We can even put down a little wager, my minigun versus your 20mm cannon. Let's see who's more accurate. I laughed as I said, sure thing, 17. You lay down the tracers and we'll plant the cannon on whatever you hit. After turning around and heading back for about 5 clicks, Cloudy jumped on the radio. Assault 16, this is Assault 17. Go ahead, 17, I replied. Cluster of houses on my 12, going in hot, wager is on. Copy that, 17, I got my eyes on you, do your best and I'll beat it. I raised collective as I started to orbit over Cloudy, keeping a close eye on his intended target, as he passed the old buildings. His door gunner laid some lead into what was left of this poor roof that was barely being supported by this one wall. The rounds caused the whole thing to collapse. Hey 17, I said over the radio, not much left for me to shoot it now, is there? 16, this is 17, a bet's a bet. Okay 17, I'm turning in, stay clear and I'll try my best. There wasn't much of a target left as everything was now laying under a cloud of dust. As I turned in I said to my co-pilot, hey Jim, engage the rockets, let's send a pile of rubble flying. He laughed as he confirmed it would be a good idea. After making sure that Cloudy's bird was well clear, I fired of 2 pairs and sent at rubble flying, leveling off the rest of the other dilapidated buildings at the same time. Assault 17, this is 16, do you think I hit it? I said as I laughed. No reply. Assault 17, this is Assault 16, do you read? And again no reply. After completing my turn I had Cloudy's bird in sight. My heart stopped beating as I saw black smoke pouring out from behind the turbine and he was flying away from us in the direction of our base. Assault 17, this is 16, we're on your 6, how copy? And again, no reply. Shortly after that he was flying pretty low, barely missing the treetops. When all of a sudden I saw him slam into a branch that caught the one skid and flipped the helicopter over and sent it smashing into the ground below. I immediately jumped on the FM radio. Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Assault 16, my scout bird has just gone down followed by our location. Is there any birds in the area? Need immediate medevac. 3 casualties. Lucky for us there was a UH-1H not too far away that was doing a recon ground unit rotation. He jumped on the radio and said, Assault 16, this is Enfield 4-1, we are 15 clicks from your location, en route right now, ETA 10 mics. What happened? Is the LZ hot, he asked. Enfield 4-1, this is Assault 16, negative. Well I don't actually know at this point. I think I may have hit my scout bird with debris after a rocket strike. We'll do a recon of the area, then I'm going to put my bird down and make my way to the crash. Okay Assault 16, keep me posted and be careful.
I don't see no river though.
Fable Control, this is Dodge 3. We are 20 miles east of the FOB. How copy? Dodge 3, this is Fable Control. We copy your last. Give us a call when you have the FOB in sight, and remember to keep right at the fork in the river on your way in. Make sure you climb to 1100 meters to clear the town of Habaz. After that, you'll be on the final approach. See you shortly.
There's no river
Copy the
here.
control. Left at the fork in the river and climb to 1,100 meters. Dodge 3.
Oh, that's it. Okay. I see it. I see it. Okay. We got the river inside. Okay.
Remember to keep left at the fork in the river. We're about 9 miles out now. We'll make the landing request once we reach the town of Habaz.
Rotor, by left, what exactly do you mean? Because I'm seeing 3 forks, right? Or 1? 2. Yeah, I think it's the only river that goes up in the mountains. Straight ahead, pretty much. I seem to remember that the FOB is someplace there.
Fable Control, Dodge 3, 4 miles to the east, passing over the town of Habaz, requesting landing clearance. Dodge 3, we have here a bird in sight. You're cleared to bring her straight in. Just remember where you're assigned to park. Use taxiway Alpha. The ground crews are standing by to assist you after you land. QNH2, 9.92, winds are 102 at 8 knots. Straight in via taxiway Alpha, QNH2 9.92, Dodge 3. Alright, Cadet, we're cleared straight in. Taxiway Alpha, and don't forget where our spot is. There's the ground crewman waiting for us. We're number 3 after Dodge 2.
And do I see the FOB? Is that it? Yes it is. I'm supposed to park in the middle row, from what I've seen in the briefing. Taxiway Alpha is the left gap, the left vertical gap between these SA342 rows. I don't know if I'm supposed to use it or not, like... It depends, am I facing their nose or their tails? I can't tell from here. Why are we slowing so dramatically? This is something that's been bothering me a lot with the Gazelle. Like, for fuck's sake. Okay, I'm seeing... I still don't understand. Am I seeing their nose or their tail? I don't know. Let's descend even more. Let's get ready for the landing. I'm looking at their tails. Yeah. I need to be parking behind that one. Lots of wind from what I can see. We're also a little bit heavy on fuel, so the fuel I gave it will come to bite me now in the landing. Okay, this is it.
Make sure the collective is fully pushed down. Center the pedals and cyclic. Not a bad day of flying, cadet. Let's shut her down, and after you can run through the post-flight check with the ground crew.
Okay, so I don't really have anything to say to you guys. This was a very boring mission, just a transfer flight, nothing fancy. Thank God this helicopter has autopilot, because I just used the autopilot and I was on my phone 90% of the time. Thank God. But I don't think this is bad. I think we need simple transfer flights here and there just to break the monotony, because even constant combat or constant challenge or constant learning, they can be monotonous as well. They can irritate you. So yeah, I don't hate it at all. I do hate, however, the fact that I had to restart the mission. I already explained why in the beginning of the video. I'm not going to repeat myself. But yeah, next mission is going to be the second to last mission. And as I understand it, it's going to be weapons training, weapons use. I'm not sure which one of the two. And then there's one more mission to complete this campaign. Now, when I complete this campaign, I'm not sure where I'm going next. School is starting again, and I also got back to my work, so I'll probably not have enough time for everything. We'll see. I'll have to think about it. That said, thank you for signing out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Good flying, everyone.